Hello everyone, welcome to the autumn stream, update stream for Alien Horizon. I'm Akira, the developer, and today we're going to take a look at this update's changelog. Unfortunately this time we're not going to play the game itself because honestly I'm a bit tired lately because of all the stuff that's happening in real life too. I think the changelog will be enough for today. I hope everyone can hear me. And we're going to get right into the changelog. And after the changelog, the update will be released. Okay, let's see what we have here. Let's start sandbox game so that I can show you everything. Okay, so the first thing that changed in this update is that the deck system for technologies has been removed. So previously, was whenever a technology was revealed, it showed up here until you have three of them, and you had to choose one of these. And if you revealed any other technology, it would go into your deck, and it wouldn't appear until you either researched any of the three technologies that were available, or press a button here that would cost you some research points that would randomly choose technologies from your deck. But honestly, I didn't like this system. It didn't serve any purpose. So I removed it. Now any technology that you have revealed will appear here, and you can scroll in this and research any technology that you want. You still have to reveal them, like there are still these requirements and technologies that aren't available from the start. You still have to achieve those to reveal the technology, but you're not constrained to just three of them. I actually uh, realized that the system was terrible when I caught myself saves coming and hoping that I would get different technologies by rerolling the deck. So yeah, when the developer is saves coming, there's something wrong. Okay, and then we have some new content. We have new colleges. The labs aren't going anywhere. The lab can still be used in the early game for educating colonists, but now in the late game you don't have to build more of these labs and sacrifice their research for educating colonists. You can build these colleges, which are huge. They cost a lot of resources. Like this is the engineering college, but they can also teach a lot of students. You aren't going to need a lot of these. Usually just one or two, even in late game colonies. So this is engineering college, and there's chemistry college that looks like this. Yes, some tanks. Make sure you realize that this is chemistry. Looks a bit different, but I'm always trying to give these buildings at least some common features to make it look like they belong together. And then there's social science college. Looks like this. With more rounded corners. Biology college with a greenhouse. Because Alien Horizon biology actually usually means botany. You usually just want them for greenhouses and farms. Geology College. And finally, the Physics College. If them can. The Engineering and Chemistry College have the largest capacity, but are also the most expensive ones. Social Science has a little bit less, a bit lower capacity, and then the Biology and so on. It depends on how needed those skills are. Does Geo College have surveyor garages? No, it's only for educating. You still need the geology lab for surveyors. These actually don't create any research points either. It's really just for students. But they also have they also have a canteen for the students, so that's another part of their function. And there's also one other new structure that I think a lot of people really wanted, and that's the silo. Looks like this, and it's a structure that can only store one resource, but it's resources that you usually can't store in stockpiles, but it can store a lot of them on just one tile. I think the most important resource that you want this for is soil, because whenever you build a farm, you need 5,000 soil to build it, and storing it in warehouses was really impractical. So now you can store it here, and it actually even has a conveyor connection, so you can connect it to your cultivation plant like this, and your tracks don't even have to carry the soil to it. It just happens automatically. So to answer your question, yes, it does have a conveyor connection. I've used this in many of my games since I've added it. It's really useful. I really like it, and I really like how it looks like. You can actually store some types of food in it also, so you can make much bigger stockpiles of food. Not all of it, like wheat, legumes, and rice only, because vegetables probably wouldn't like being stuffed into it. Or potatoes, as I've been educated by a member of Discord. Fortunately, I don't remember which one. So yeah. Then there are new technologies. All of them are just for the colleges, so that you can build them. And then we have some UX improvements. Now, whenever you mouse over these bars in the status bar, you can actually see what's causing the average morale of colonists. Here you can see that low expectations is +11, hope +3, joy need is -0.55, etc. These are sorted from the biggest positive to the biggest negatives. You can see that the biggest negative is active loss and housing quality at the end, -2 both. So now you know that what's causing the low morale or low health or low productivity. Here you can see that at the start you don't have any penalty to productivity, so it's at 100%, and health is +2 because the colonists are getting +1 from morale and +1 from hope. We can actually load some other other colonies, so we can see these in more representative state. This may take a while. This is a really large colony, the last one I've been testing with. I forgot to mention that if you have any questions, you can ask at any time and I will answer anything. But some already know. Okay. Taking a while, I'm sorry. What is in the next plan? What do you mean? Like for the next update? Well, I do have some plans, but okay, I guess I don't answer everything. So yeah, this is a colony I was testing with. So here you can see that yeah, it was a try. You can see that here the low expectations are only at +4, but now we're getting some joy needs and social needs are also in the positives. The housing quality isn't that negative, etc. Also, health, you can see that food variety is increasing health, age is decreasing it. That's actually unavoidable. You just are going to have old colonies that have poor health. Looks like some are missing consumer goods. Not sure why, but sometimes it happens. They have other things to do than shopping. And here you can see the effect of productivity. You can see that injuries, pregnancy, and health are affecting it negatively. Pregnancy is also unavoidable, and you do want it because you want to have lots of children. And yeah, another thing that was added was that there's a breakdown of colonist professions when you mouse over population. Here you can see that this colony has 441 working age people that are educated, 24 physicists, etc. So you can see that, but you can see what kind of professions they can have, what kind of expertise they have, the skills. Or maybe skills is the best word to use. And to accompany that, another thing is that if you mouse over unfilled jobs, that's unfilled jobs. You can see what kind. Well, you can see also a breakdown of all jobs that are in the colony. So you can see what if there's going to be a shortage of a skill in the future, so you can prepare for it. Hello, I'm interested in this new game. Well, it's not actually really new. It's been around for a while. So yeah, you can see that there are 191 engineering jobs in the colony, and that you have 341 engineers. So that's not a problem. But for example, biologists, you have 64 jobs, but only 81 colonists with this skill. So it may be a problem in the future. You have to make sure to have enough labs to educate them. Another improvement is that here in free residences, you can see the number of overcrowded residences, which are residences where there are too many people living in it. And if you select any housing structure, you can see the overcrowded residences in red. So you can see that this residence has 6 colonies in it, but it only has a capacity of 5. So you should build some new housing structures that have at least 6 or more capacity for example, communal houses which have 8. Another really great feature that I've been using ever since I added it is that now you can set your reactors to auto-suspend, not just your mines. Here you can set the amount of energy storage where you want your reactors to suspend at. For example, I set the ship's reactor to 70%, which means that when energy storage goes above 70%, the reactor will automatically suspend, and then when it goes back under 70%, it will unsuspend and enable again. So you don't have to micromanage your reactors anymore. You can stagger them, for example. This one is at 50, this one is at 30. So you can see that I'm currently at 40%. So this one is disabled and this one is not. Wait, want to test it and things like that. Start at 25%, stop at 75%, like that. Yes, that's going to be added sometime in the future, but right now I just wanted to add this because it was simple. Hysteresis would have to remember the state that it was in and etc. And I really just wanted something very simple because I'm still working on the rewrite and I don't want to spend too much time on the pre-alpha version or the alpha version or whatever, the preview alpha version. That's what it's called. So yeah, I'm just doing very small things that can be done easily. And this was very easy to do because the similar system is already present for mines. Please don't forget the thermal generator to get rid of unusable waste. That's one of the things that are planned, but may take a while. There are other priorities. The generator will actually be able to use anything that can be burned, not just unusable waste, but also like carbon and hydrogen, methane, ammonia. I think that's all. So yeah, it will be in some future update, probably still in the preview alpha, but definitely not the next update. So next one, unit shifts are now constrained by their parent. So for example, if in Universal Fabricator, you turn off the night shift in the central building, it automatically turns off the night shift in all the units, and you can't turn them on. Before you could turn them on, they stayed on if you just did it on the central building, but the productivity would actually be 0 because it still relies on the central building. So I had some players complain that they enabled some shift on a unit and the productivity was 0 and they didn't know why. And it was because the central structure was disabled. But now you just can't enable it, so you know what's going on. Another cool feature that I really like is that now whenever you start placing a structure, like for example canteen, all the other canteens in the colony are highlighted in magenta, so you know where they are and you can spread them out. So you have a better idea of where everything is. Works on all structures that are not masked. Like for example, it doesn't do so for solar arrays because you have a lot of them and you can see them easily. My colony is a huge mountain of the waste, the unusable waste. You might want to give it a special color to mark that it's controlled by the main building or at the tooltip. Well, there is a tooltip that when you go to the night shift here that is disabled, the tooltip does tell you that the shift is disabled by central building. I hope that's enough. But I guess I could store the shift itself. Maybe. I'll think about it. Yes. Yeah, now someone demanded in Discord that when you select some stats in your in the colony statistics, you want when you reload the game, you want the stats to be shown again, so that they're saved. So now they're saved. As you can see, I didn't access the colony statistics, but one statistic is already selected. That's stored energy, which I currently looked at last. So now you don't have to select the stats again if there are some stats that you often look at. Another good addition is that now whenever you're running out of resources in the cargo ships, when you have less than 20% left of whatever you discovered, it now shows a pin here showing you all the resources that you're running out of, and the tooltip of the pin tells you, hey, you're running out of these resources, you should start producing them yourself. And when you do produce them yourself, the pin goes away. Or if you find more cargo ships with the resource. So now you're not surprised by actually completely running out of a resource. You have some kind of heads up for that, and you can, for example, if you are about to run out of, let's say, plumbing, and you don't have a universal fabricator yet, and you run out completely, and you find out, oh, the universal fabricator needs plumbing to be built, and I don't have any. I guess it's game over. Now it shouldn't happen because you're going to be warned when you're about to run out. So yes, this is mostly a quality of life update. Another small improvement is that when you have a pile set for auto waste with this button, when you select resource specifically, the auto waste button is deselected. What was here before? Computers. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, jury rigging is no longer considered waste processing, so which means when a recipe is considered waste processing, it doesn't show any notification that the building has run out of resources. That's why, for example, in life support ancillaries, when they don't have enough wastewater to recycle, they don't show the notification icon that they're out, because they would show it almost all the time. But jury rigging is actually not really waste processing. You're actually producing stuff that you need. So now it's not considered waste processing, and the icon will be shown. Yeah, another thing, a lot of people didn't know that when you enable school in labs, it did tell you that it would be at the expense of half of research points, but now the tooltip does specify that it only happens if there actually are any students. If you enable schools but there are no students, like at the start of the game, you don't lose any science points. Surveyors, whenever you select surveyors at night, it shows you that they don't work at night, because a lot of people are confused about that. Well, it does tell you in the surveyor garage that, or in the survey office, that they don't work at night. Maybe some people need more explanations. I hope it will help. Similarly, for new players, when you have your tutorial when you have tutorial turned on, you can't select anything on the map for the first few tutorial windows, because I've seen some players who have made videos playing the game that got really confused when they selected something and it started popping up tutorials everywhere, and I'm sure a lot of people are put off from the game because of that. So now you can't select anything during the first few tutorials uh, for your own for your own protection. There's also a new tutorial for schools when a child reaches school age. Overcrowding is explained in tutorial, and storage buildings descriptions have been improved to tell you that, for example, a large storage tank can only store one type of resource, while the regular storage tanks can store 3 types, and the warehouse can store anything. So let's go to technical improvements. There's support for any aspect ratio now, so you can select ultra wide or 4:3 resolutions, whatever your graphics card or display supports. There has been a lot of people wanting to have ultra wide support, so I hope this will make them happy. Actually, enabling the resolutions themselves was easy, but I had to make sure that the game is actually still playable, that all the UI elements are at the right spots. What engine are you using? I'm building my own engine based on Monogame framework. Monogame isn't entirely an engine, it's more of a framework, and I'm building my own engine on top of it. Is the game playable on DirectX 11 Windows 7? Yes, it is DirectX 11, and development started on Windows 7, but it's now mostly on Windows 10. But I'm pretty sure that Windows 7 still works. Linux. I'm currently working on rewriting the whole game from scratch on a new engine that I'm also making on top of Monogame framework, and the new rewritten version does work on Linux. I know that some people have managed to make this version work on Proton and Wine, but it's not officially supported. Are there plans to get unlimited resources like via trading or something? There's definitely not going to be trading, but I do have some ideas how resources could be made unlimited. But it's going to be very late game. But currently they are not unlimited. The deposits deplete and you have to look for more of them. But the map currently is really big, so honestly you're not going to run out ever. Practically. Yeah, another important technical improvement is that colonists now use buses only when it would take them if it would save them less than an hour of walking. Buses were originally only supposed to be used for stuff like these mining outposts, or here I have a wind farm on the top of a mountain, and I do have a bus line going there. I actually have a project to mine this water, so I'm landscaping here. That's also supplied by these buses. But a lot of players like making internal bus routes. I don't usually do them because colonists get around the colony usually fine if you don't spread the colony out too much. But in the cases of internal bus lines, colonists were using them a lot, even if the next stop was just in the next block, and it was really overloading the buses. And because the bus system isn't really that great currently, It's going to be better in the rewrite, but I don't want to make too many changes now. So I rather make colonists use buses only for larger distances. They can still use the internal bus lines, but they're not going to be going to the next stop, but like to the other side of the colony maybe. So yeah, that should help with the bus lines. Uh, Another really big thing here is previously there there was a big problem with where the wastewater from colonist usage was stored in life support system. Whenever colonists consumed oxygen or water, it creates some carbon dioxide and wastewater, and it goes back into the life support system. And previously, it always went to the life support facility that was used the least. But this could create a big problem if you didn't have, for example, if you didn't have enough water for all of your life support facilities, then logically the one life support facility that was used the most was the one that didn't have any water in it. So all of the wastewater went into this one facility, and it really overloaded it, and tankers had to scatter the water to all the other life support facilities, and it was really overloading the tankers. So now, whenever colonists consume oxygen and water, the wastewater and carbon dioxide goes into the same life support facility that they took it from, and now the tankers almost don't have to do anything. It's solved almost all of the jobs that the tankers were doing. So like 90% of their jobs are gone and they're unemployed. So yeah, this should also help with the known issue that when you have too much water and the tankers load it and then they have nowhere to put it. Since now they don't carry water around as much, it doesn't happen nearly as often. So this should solve a lot of these problems too. Another big problem that went from that seems like it was small but it caused problems was that you could explore diagonally, and then the cargo trucks couldn't get to any cargo ships. No, so now you can't explore diagonally. Well, you can enqueue the sector to be explored, but they're not going to go there until you explore some like this sector that's neighboring it, not diagonally. My life support was quite a traffic nightmare. Good to see it fixed. Yes, it's exactly what I'm trying to solve here. Does the game have blueprints or plan to have them? Probably will have them in the future. I don't want to make any promises, but currently, no. I'm assuming, or what do you mean by blueprints? I imagine blueprints like you can copy an entire part of the colony. Yes, there are production chains. For example, like here in advanced fabrication unit, make furniture from steel, aluminum, textiles, and glass. You have to make these textile factory makes the textiles. Here we have prefab glass for that makes the glass, etc. Yes, copy pasting, saving a copy of an area. I hope to have it sometime in the future. Definitely not in preview alpha. In the more likely in the rewritten version that's currently in development. If you want to see teasers from the rewritten version, go to Discord. I have already made some teasers for it there. Okay, let's continue. Areas around the starting ship and cargo ships are now guaranteed to be traversable. Some people were complaining that when they are discovered cargo ship, the trench that it created actually was inaccessible. Now it ensures that it always is accessible. Unfortunately, that's because the trench isn't as pronounced sometimes, but it's more important that you can actually access the cargo ships. Too many construction workers were sent to another site if the site was close to finishing and they had too low productivity. I'm sure that if you have played the game enough, you could see sometimes that when a structure is close to finishing and there are a lot of workers there, it released some of them that weren't needed to finish it in 1 hour. But because their productivity was lower because of like morale and stuff, they couldn't finish it in 1 hour, and then the structure released more of them, and again they couldn't finish it in 1 hour again, and sometimes it took too long to finish it because it was trying to be efficient by releasing workers. So now it does look at their productivity, and it only releases enough workers to really finish it in 1 hour. Unfortunately, there are still cases where they may not finish it in 1 hour if their productivity changes during that time, but that doesn't happen that often. Similarly, construction offices were sometimes sending workers that had zero productivity, and they were sending them alone, and they could never finish. So now, if they do send someone who has zero productivity, they send another person also, until they get to at least someone who has some productivity. And also, I forgot to put it in the changelog. If there's at least one worker, even if they have zero productivity, it always progresses by at least one point every hour. So even zero productivity workers can eventually build the structure. And then we go to balance, which is probably the most important part of this update. The biggest thing is that I doubled the time a structure needs before maintenance, the maintenance timer. Let's see some newly built structure where you can see it better. Like, I think this was built recently. Yeah, before usually structures had to be maintained every 4 seasons. Now it's 8 seasons, more for some other structures. So now you're using only half as much resources for maintenance, and also your construction workers are not used as much for maintenance, which means the resources that you find in cargo ships last much longer. There's not as much stress to produce everything so quickly. Now you actually have some moments of respite. Before it was basically just a rush towards producing everything because you were running out of everything really fast. So now the game is a bit more relaxed. I still want it to be challenging, don't get me wrong, but I don't want it to be challenging all the time. I want there to be some times where you do have to rush, and sometimes where you can like improve your colony, improve the well-being of your colonists, make the production chains more optimized, etc., so that you actually can enjoy your colony without constantly having to rush forward. Great to hear that my buildings were trashed faster than reality TV sets. Yeah. Another thing that I changed to make the game a bit more relaxed is that I lowered the amount of colonies that you have in stasis from 1500 to just 1200. And the reason for that is that at 1200 you get to the point where you have most of the things that you need to keep the colony going. But now it transitions to a different kind of challenge. Before you were rushing to get resources to start producing resources. Now it actually encourages you to improve the well-being of your colonists, because now you are more constrained not by resources but by workers. You have to improve living conditions of the population to get enough children, to replace your aging population, to increase your workforce, and to expand the colony further. What I really wanted there to be this kind of transition from resources to workers being the thing that constrains you. And that's achieved by lowering the amount of colonists you start with. I also figured out that to really get your population up and running faster and more easily, I increased the housing capacity or the apartment capacity of most housing structures. I think the only one that wasn't changed was the slum, which still has only five spots. So only families of 5 can fit in before they become overcrowded. But for everything else, it was increased, like communal house by 2, apartment multiplex by 1, duplex by 1, small apartment multiplex by 1, etc. You can see it here. So that colonies have more space to actually have children. I think it helped a lot with the communal houses, because I think that previously they weren't that great. Now they have a lot of space, even for families of 8. Actually, in this colony, I remember seeing somewhere a family of 9. I think that's some of them. Yeah, here, and this is 9 people living in one apartment. So even a communal house isn't enough for them. Yeah, so this helps with getting enough children to actually reach self-sustaining population. I also lowered the amount of workers in the medical education unit because it was excessive. Now it's more reasonable, and it's more in line with the newly added colleges. The colleges also now always have social scientists as someone who can help the experts actually create a learning plan for the people that are studying there. So here there's a social science worker also, and 3 medicine workers to actually teach this stuff. Also, the graduation rates were significantly increased, because my tests have shown that you usually don't have enough experts. And this is also part of adding some leeway to players, because when I realized that even if you play perfectly, it's not enough. Then when you don't play perfectly, you're completely screwed. So now that there's a bit more leeway, you can actually make at least some mistakes before it really bites you in the butt. This is starting to sound like workers and resources in space. Was that your intentions? I actually started making this game before workers and resources was even announced. I started making this before even Surviving Mars was announced. This was inspired by many other games, but not workers and resources. I haven't actually played it, but I do want to when they actually release in what window. I don't like playing early access games. Except Alien Horizon, I guess. I do play it occasionally to test it. Before Surviving Mars, yes. This was actually the early version of this game was supposed to take place on Mars, but it wasn't inspired by Surviving Mars. It was inspired by a little indie game called Soul Zero, which I've seen a let's play of, and I thought I'm sure I would be able to make a better Mars colonization game. And sometime later I started working on this. I think I already surpassed Surviving Mars now. This so similar hexagon and so on. That's actually just coincidence. I already had hexagons before Surviving Mars had it. If it isn't Mars, will we get varied environments? I do plan to. Actually, if you go to the Discord and see the teasers for the rewritten version, you can see that this particular planet is gonna have liquid water on it. How long have you been working on this? You are working alone? Yes, I'm working alone, and I've been working for like 7 years, I think. Something like that. It's been a long time. And it's still very far from being finished, at least like for maybe 5 years. I sometimes joke that I'm not going to finish before I'm dead. Let's continue before. Continue with the changelog. There's not much else. I'm sure that some people uh, uh, are looking forward to the update being released. I increased the amount of resources stored in mining drills and shuttles for their internal life support. As you know, mining drills, when they're connected to utility lines, they share the life support with the rest of the colony. But you can also build them outside of the life support, and tankers will actually send them resources for their own internal life support. And I increased the amount that gets sent there because sometimes when the vehicles were a bit overloaded, which they shouldn't be as much because of the changes to the life support providers and the load between them. Sometimes when the tankers were overloaded, they couldn't supply them in time. So now they ask for a bit more resources, and they can stay fine without tankers for a bit longer. Full trucks loads only option for waste pickup. That's a bit problematic because the small amounts of waste that are generated are usually from maintenance, and that those resources do have to be carried away. There's not much that can be done, but that shouldn't happen that often because maintenance has been lowered by half. So even the cargo trucks shouldn't be as 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 overloaded by maintenance anymore. So that should help at least somewhat. And finally, we do have some fixes, some crashes. Nothing interesting. Oh yes, that was really important fix for colonists or rather families that really didn't want to move between houses. For example, if they were living in a slum that only had like if they were living in a slum that was overcrowded, it only had 5 spots, but they could move into a communal house which has 8, and they wouldn't be overcrowded there. They didn't want to move because there was a really interesting bug. The colonists always look at their spouse's apartment to see if they can move to it in case they recently got married, so that the couples that they get married move together fast. And when they were already together, there was um, what do I call it? there was bias towards the apartment where their spouse is. So the husband looked at all the apartments that were available and looked at the apartment they were in. Well, and said, "Well, this apartment is the best because my wife is here, so I'm not going to change the apartments." And then when the wife was looking at apartments, she looked at the current apartment and said, "Well, my husband is here, so I'm not going to move to another house. I want to live here." So the whole family didn't want to move because they really wanted to stay together, and they do stay together when they move, because when one of the members of the household moves, the entire family moves. But they didn't know that. So this was fixed now. The colonists should now move to better apartments. Did you find the cause of shuttle workers don't move into the shuttles just standing right below it? I didn't. I looked into it and couldn't find why it's happening. I hope to be able to fix it someday, but unfortunately not in this update. I'm sorry. But I'm aware that it does happen sometimes. Another thing that was happening actually it was good thing that the families were not moving, because they didn't move with their belongings. When they did move, they left everything, all the furniture and clothing and etc. in their former home, and had to buy everything again, which was actually a reason why a lot of colonists had lower productivity, because they were missing consumer goods. It was because they didn't take it with them when they moved. So now they do. Is that not what people normally do? Well, some do. Also, really funny bug here was that I never noticed that malfunctioning structures started working again when you reloaded the game. It still looked like they were malfunctioning, but they were actually working. And this bug was very odd. For as long as malfunctions existed in the game, this bug was in it, which is actually longer than the game has been public. So at least like 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer. Sorry. And anything else that's interesting? Yes. No. I guess that's it. So, any more questions? I will now prepare for the release. Isn't that how structures work? Yeah, no. I'm afraid you can't reload the world. So I'm going to release the update, and you can still ask me questions in the meantime. Okay. I actually, if you watched the last stream, you know that to release on Steam that I need my phone, and I found a way to release it without my phone, because I'm using my phone for the camera, and I had to borrow a different phone for the camera like last time. Now I found a way to release it without my phone, and I can use my own phone for the camera. So let's release. Okay, that would be itch. Patreon. Also, if you don't know, I have a Patreon. That's how the game is financed. Also, some donation packs on the Steam store. And now for Steam, publish. So I would really appreciate if you supported me. That's my only source of income for this game. That's what's allowing it to stay free. Actually, when you think about it, it's really strange that I'm asking you to pay me so that the game stays free. That's actually kind of stupid. But yeah, that's how it works. And that should be it. Game should be, the update should be live now. Let me just check. Yeah, it now wants to update on Steam. The update announcement should be up. I hope so. Yes, the update should be up everywhere. So that's it. Any more questions? Prepare for the release would drop before the stream. What do you mean? I just released the update. Right now, it wasn't released before the stream. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I guess I'll see you in next time, which, yeah, the 1.6 megabytes, the updates are actually pretty small. There are no new textures or sounds, so it's just a few models and the executable itself. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to leave it at that. See you next time. Unfortunately, I'm not going to show the game today because I'm a bit tired. I'm sorry about it. This is only the update stream. You can try it yourself. It's free. And I'll see you next time in about 3 months. I usually make update every 3 months. And it's going to be small update again because I'm mostly working on the rewritten version. You can go to Discord to see teasers for it. You can see liquid water there and building in multiple structures in multiple levels, like the pipes and conveyors. And that's it. Thank you and bye.